We are looking at another locksmithing business for sale, and the question is, how much would you pay for $96,000 a year of cash flow? All right, hey Dad, welcome back, and we're going to be talking about a locksmithing business for sale in the state of Colorado, or as you would say, Colorado. All right, so this business was established in 2020, and let me kind of read and give you some facts.
Okay.
All right. So the gross revenue of this business is $180,000 a year. They've been around. They were established in 2020. They have They do have a physical location, a shop that's $615 a month. They have $16,000 of inventory, and let me read to you a description.
Okay.
This is a thriving locksmithing company for sale in the area with significant growth potential. The company has increased revenue each year of operation and is becoming a well-known brand in the community. It has 2 major commercial accounts for recurring revenue and many more. The company is perfect for a locksmith looking to start their own company with minimal risk, able to pick up the phone and start working on day one. Currently a shop location in a primary downtown area, but the lease is up at the end of May 2025. And we are not renewing. So you would need to purchase soon to keep that rental office for $615 a month. Simply selling because of medical issues, or we would keep it because it will be an empire in this part of the state in just a few years. All right, so we got some pictures for you to look at, but do you want me to keep going, or?
I'm good.
Here we go. So they have a ProMaster 1500 used for locksmith work, along with cabinets, machines, and inventory. Only locksmith within 60 miles east and 3 hours west, north, and south. Well known in the local area for an established brand and reoccurring revenue with a large commercial businesses in the area. There is one locksmith working out of his personal vehicle within 20 miles of us that started this year, but he is primarily automotive. A large city within an hour east currently has 2 locksmiths looking to retire, so we are working to expand that way. Let's talk about growth and expansion. A pro in that area is that the cities have still not reached, have not fully reached their potential. A con is that there is a few other companies that are also expanding in the area. We just started expanding into the market, but are making progress year to year. Let's get into one of your favorite topics.
Okay.
Support and training.
Yes.
Willing to introduce to current customers, only be available on weekends, but willing to help. The current business manager can continue working on almost every Friday if desired until May for $400 a month.
Okay.
Before we get too much further here, take a look at these photos. Okay, there's the van, nice looking van.
Yep, very nice.
Inside here, nice cabinets. Looks like they have a Triton machine.
Right.
I think they have a nice JMA Vienna Smart, kind of like a premium duplicator. Mm-hmm. Okay, here's their shop. You can see a 1200 frame in 2. Looks like maybe a couple duplicators. You can see a little inventory on the
drill
wall.
Drill press.
Yep, drill press. And that's it.
Okay.
So, they're talking, the cash flow is $96,000 out of the 180, so you can tell it's primarily service work. Right? And they're asking $78,000.
Okay.
So, give me, what are you thinking here?
Well, for the price, I don't care what business you're buying. I don't think that's enough time unless it's an experienced locksmith just to walk in and start his own, it's fantastic. But if somebody off the street wants to start into the business and do the time they're willing to teach and train isn't very much. He's willing to work on Friday, but what about the other 6 days? I mean, if you run into something, is he available
on the weekends?
Right, to talk at least.
Yeah.
And what about if it's something the person who's receiving it never has seen it, and he goes, "Oh my gosh, I can't do it," and you lose business.
Yeah.
So I would like to see them step up and give them some more training for, months, a year, whatever, because as you well know, as I well know, every day is a new day. Sure, basic rekeys, but there's how many different brands of locks out there?
Yeah.
And a lot of people have never seen any. Guy's proud that he's got his company up and running for, 5 years. It's great. And I understand the health issues, but you want him to succeed and not go backwards.
Yeah.
That's why I'm always into the training. Dollars sound pretty good, what they're asking.
Yeah, but with the training, I would say, the reason they're selling is for medical issues, they say, and we don't know what those are.
Exactly.
And so that's kind of it can be a tough situation.
22, yeah.
Right. Overall, though, gross revenue 180, cash flow 96.
Right.
Right. And you start looking at it here with, it's...
You get the van.
Yeah,
So it's a nice looking van.
So I want to hit on the fact here, right? If you're doing 180 in revenue and your cash flow is 96 and you're paying $615 a month out of that, and that's part of the other part of that cash flow, right? It's a very, they're doing a lot of service work.
Yes, because you've got a lot of profit.
So there's a lot of money there, right? And geez, $78,000 to me seems like a really good deal.
Absolutely, because by the time you buy the truck, even if it's used, is $30.
Yep.
And then you look at all the inventory he has.
Yep.
And the equipment, there's another $25.
Yeah, right. So, if we just look at the bare bones here, okay, so there's the van, right? The, I think did it say the year in here? No, it didn't. But, looking at that, it's a newer.
Yes.
Right? So, let's just put a price on the van here. What would you say, just the van alone, if it was empty?
It's going to be $30,000 minimum.
So, let's just say 30. Okay?
Yeah, not depending on miles, but minimum.
Let's just do round numbers here. And then just by looking at the pictures, okay, we have the Triton. Let's say that's worth...
metal cabinets.
Yep, metal cabinets.
Workbenches.
Triton, the key machine. Looks like there's a smart wedge in there. Let's see what else, if we can see anything. Let's say... let's...
The cutting machine, the key duplicator.
Yep, the key duplicator, all of that. So in the van, let's say, let's round down to $5,000 worth of if we were to, how much is all of that worth, would you say, in the used market? If you were going to buy all of that.
Yeah, it's worth at least $5,000.
Yeah, so let's just say, so we have $30,000 for the van, $5,000 for that. Right. Now let's just look in the shop. Now, of course, we're going low here.
Yes,
right?
yes.
We have the frame in 2, there's a 1200, there's another duplicator. Is that okay? So there's a frame in 2, a 1200, and then 2 duplicators. Now that I'm looking closely here. So look at the key inventory. Let's put another 5,000 on it. Okay.
Okay.
So we're running out. So we have between the van and
it's $50,000.
Yeah, 50.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
So to buy it at 78, assuming you can keep most of the customers.
Right.
It's a pretty gosh darn good deal.
But my thing is, again, being in business all these years, they have 2 major, gives them a lot of work.
Yep.
A lot of times that can bite you in the butt. But
it's a risk.
Yes, because you don't want to be just, we're doing all their work. That's great. But you want to do a lot of little work, too, to keep you going in case something happens to that company.
Yes.
And, slows down or whatever. So you never want to just, be an in-house locksmith as such for one company.
Yeah. So, if those 2 customers are 80% of your revenue, that's a massive risk.
Exactly.
Is what you're saying.
Right.
It's good
and
till
I'm
it's
just
not.
bringing that up, right?
Yeah.
Just so people understand.
Yep.
Because I've been there.
Yeah, it's not fun.
No, it
when
isn't.
those things happen, right? So it's one of those, like, it's a weird thing that you're happy you have them, you're glad you have them, you want to keep them.
Absolutely.
But if you set your business up to need them, and then you don't have them,
Right.
you're done, right?
I agree.
It's not good.
100%.
Okay, so I want to really kind of hit on this topic here. I'm really curious to kind of get your...
Well, the other thing is the rent. In 2 months, they got to find a new place.
what I was going to bring up.
Oh, was it? And, rent's most likely going to go up. Hopefully a better location.
Yeah. So they're telling us that they're not keeping that. Now, I would like to know if they weren't going to keep it, even if they were going to stay in business.
Right.
Right? What do you think? Doing 180 gross revenue... Do you think having a shop in this town is good or not good? Would you want to keep it going? Would you say, hey, we should go mobile only? Like, what are you thinking in this, from what you can gather here?
I would try to keep it a shop because I believe in brick and mortar.
Yeah.
People, if there's an issue, they want to come to you.
Yeah.
Because they can't always afford to give you that trip charge.
Yep.
To come out. It seems like people think you're more reputable if you have a brick and mortar location. Sure. Even if that's what people think, because I've been told that.
Yeah.
It's, the price is still an excellent price. Yeah. I mean, if you're an entrepreneur, aggressive in marketing and everything, you can send out your new location to everybody, advertise it.
Yeah.
There's all these little places you can put the marketing to make sure.
Yeah.
Everybody sees it.
Mm-hmm. So you would want to potentially first try to keep it 615. Like, how does it make you feel? Like, you're doing 180 a year. So what's that? Roughly 15,000 a month.
Right.
You're paying 600 in that. With that revenue, are you going to try to do shop and service work yourself? Like, just do like, hey, where we do shop from 8 to 10, and then you go out and do work the rest of the day? Or are you going to try to hire someone in there?
I've had to do exactly that, where I'd say I'll be in the shop this time, or if it was just me, I'd be back at. It works, but it doesn't work because it makes customers upset. Yeah. Because some jobs take a lot longer and you're, 2 hours late.
Yeah.
Now they've wasted their time and gas twice.
Yeah.
I would try to hire somebody myself to, if nothing else, just to cut keys if they can't rekey a lock or whatever.
But when you're sitting with $15K of revenue,
well, it can go quick,
right?
Right. But those are risks we all take in business.
Yeah. But you're saying, you would want to keep it going if you could up front here.
Yes.
Try to keep it going.
Right.
Preferably stay where they're at.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
Because everybody knows that location.
Well, and there's build-out costs. This is already built out, right?
Right, there's cabinets and everything else. So
yeah. Now, I just want to play with this a little, though. So let's say you buy it in April, okay? And you go meet with the landlord, or you want to buy it in April, meet with the landlord, and they're like, hey, Pete, we'll keep the $615 a month, but we need you to sign a 3-year lease.
I would.
You would?
Yeah, because it's established.
What if they told you they'd do a 1 year at $800 a month?
Probably wouldn't be happy.
Would you do the 1 year at
for now?
8?
Because I just got into it. That's why I'm a firm believer in owning your buildings than running, because landlords can be great, but they also can be not, because they raise the rent.
Yeah.
There's conditions if it's triple net, or if it's just you pay us $500 a month, we'll take care of everything. But the triple net can kill you because you're paying the taxes, you're paying for maintenance, you're paying for snow removal if it's that area.
Yeah.
But
so
it's a lot to think about.
I think I would tell them, hey, I'll do a 1 year, $800 a month.
Right.
But I want the first 2 months free since I just bought this.
They probably tell you take a
Well,
hike.
even that way, because it'd still be 600. You know what I mean?
Well, and that's why you try to negotiate. Always
Yeah.
negotiate.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Never just bow down to what they're asking. Say, well, let's see if what we can do. Now, on the price, I would still try to work on it. It's a great deal.
Okay, how much? Let's talk.
Well, you know, the gentleman or gal, whoever, is available for Fridays only.
Yeah, so they have and that's a good point. So they do have a business manager that can continue working almost every Friday if desired, up until the end of May, though.
But Friday's only one day.
It's not much.
No. And because you're going to have to hire somebody.
Yeah.
You know, is the business manager doing the books also? Or, you know, so if you can find somebody who's good at books and be able to cut keys or rekey a lock, that's the golden child, you know.
Yeah.
They're more valuable. But it's tough.
Okay,
I mean,
so how much money?
if it was me,
Yep. What deal would you offer them?
I'd start at 45
Cash?
cash. Now, if they're going to finance, I'd give them exactly what they want.
No, but no money up front for you?
I'd give them $1,000
$1,000.
because you don't know what your output's going to be to find a new location.
Yeah.
I mean, everything's negotiable, and it's not because I'm cheap and I'm very frugal. I want to make sure that I can sustain and keep going.
Yeah. Well, it just goes to say, right? I mean, if you're the seller, you want
Top dollar,
and if you're the buyer, you want
bargain deal,
right? Like, in other words, the buyer wants the minimal amount of risk that they can get,
Right.
and the buyer wants the most amount of money they can get, and those two are at odds.
Always,
Yeah.
you know. I mean, I've bought, you know, when we opened up a business and we tried for 3-5 years and lost nothing but money, close it, then open it again,
Yeah.
you know, and it still didn't work.
Yeah.
You know, you just got to cut your loss and leave.
Yeah. I mean, I would try to, I mean, of course, if you could get someone, you know, you give them 10% down, give them, you know, 7,800 or something.
Right.
And then figure out some monthly. I'd be like, okay, if we're making 96 here, maybe I make 40 and then they get 40, right? And then 40 grand over 2 years, they'd have all of their money.
Right.
And then I can still pay, you know.
You're correct. You got to give them a down payment of some sort if they're going to carry. Very few, well, I should say, here's the keys and walk away, but that did happen to me.
Yeah.
So anything's possible.
Yeah. Probably, of course, they probably don't want to do that, right?
Right,
They
because everybody needs cash these days.
The most I would probably be willing to do is I'd figure out the asset value, let's say 40 grand. And I would be like, okay, I'll give you the 40 and then the remaining 38.
Make a payment.
We're going to have to do a payment, you know.
And that's not a bad thing either. I just look at the worst scenario, I look at the best.
Yeah.
And that's, again, my opinion on all these we do.
Yeah.
Because you have to see.
It's always hard though. I mean, when someone's doing this for medical reasons, depending on what they are, like, I also want to be as sensitive as possible.
Absolutely.
Right. And so it's kind
they put their hard work into building.
Yes,
something.
and who knows what they're dealing with.
Right.
And so you want to be
gentle,
as respectful as you can.
That's a good way of putting it.
So it's kind of a weird thing here. So one other kind of nuanced thing I really wanted to hit on.
Okay.
Is the shop thing, right? Mm-hmm. So we've went over the revenue. We were talking about, if keeping a shop for $600 a month, what type of revenue or what tasks would a shop person do in order for you to think it's worth keeping?
Pretty much got to be able to do everything in the shop. If it's hand filing a key, cutting keys. But if it's a high traffic where there's a lot of keys, right there can do it, Yeah. But I'm always looking to educate whoever I have to do better. Let's teach you something new now.
Yeah.
So they can, run the cash register or whatever, the iPad, cut the keys, answer questions correctly. And it takes time to answer correctly. And what's correct, I have 3 stores, right? Everybody in each store will give you a different way because that's the way they're thinking.
Okay, but what I'm trying to get at here is that how much revenue would that shop have to produce to make
it feasible?
Yes, and what other tasks would you want to assign them? Like, are you going to still be answering the phone out in the field? Are you trying to train someone and you stay in and they go out?
They'd have
Do
to
they need to pay for
phone.
themselves?
Yeah,
Like,
they pretty much have to pay for themselves, if nothing else, as you're building.
okay.
Answer the phone, sell products. You know, I noticed there wasn't any safes. There's those safes right there where the black thing is.
I mean, we can't see in the photos.
Yeah.
Let's assume no. I mean, it looks like maybe you walk in and there's a counter there with that.
Because the more merchandise creates income, but it takes money to have merchandise.
Yeah. So you want them to just
Answer the phone.
You want them to answer the phone.
Right.
Schedule jobs.
Quote jobs. You would want the revenue that shop's bringing in through foot traffic to at least break even. To pay for the shop and the employee and the bills in the store.
That's a big burden.
Yeah,
I mean, like,
it is.
see, but that, at the current revenue, that kind of makes me feel like it's hard.
Could be.
So let's say $2,000 a month for a person. Okay, let's just say $2,000. With the 615 and the overhead of it. So let's just bring that up to 1,000.
Okay.
So you need 3,000 a month, 36,000 a year to break even in that store.
Right. Well, it's going to be more than that because of utilities and everything else.
Yeah, but if we just say still 36 out of the 180.
Offer them a free lunch. No, it can make it tight.
Yeah.
But if you want to be in business, sometimes you have to have employees because if you're sick, guess what happens? You're not making any money.
Yeah. Would you want this person in the shop to learn, like, so the thing is, right, you want them to do everything, right? You want to, you know, eventually, but you're in this weird spot where you're going to be out in the field doing all the work and not training them, right? And if you're sitting in the shop training them, then you're not out in the field making money.
Right, but I don't know of any lock shop who is that busy where they don't have time to show people new things in downtime.
Yeah.
Unless you're understaffed.
Yeah.
You know.
In this case, who's doing the books here? Like, are you hiring them out? Like, who's doing the invoicing, the bill? Like, let's just pretend you pay an accountant to do your reconciliations and all that stuff. But who's doing the invoicing?
Well, you hope the person in the shop does the invoicing.
Okay, who's making sure the money gets collected each month? You're
something most of the time you have to do, or that employee can. I've had everything you're asking, I've had to go through. Mm-hmm. Do I have a correct answer for everything? No. But as the owner, still got to do a lot of it, no matter what. You might have to work Saturday or Sunday to put out the bills for Monday. You know, you might have to reconciliate everything, your books.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, and that's why I like asking these questions, because I know I can get you thinking,
Believe me, even as we are, I still work 7 days a week because you're always thinking about the business. Yeah. I'm down there doing something. Yeah. If I'm not on vacation. Yeah. But it's just, it's something you have to think about when you buy a business.
It is. So, all in all, what are your just overall thoughts here? Like, I mean, first, I would like to say I think this person has done an incredible job.
Absolutely.
In 4 or 5 years. Mm-hmm. You can see they've invested in nice and good equipment.
Yes.
Right? Mm-hmm. They seem very professional. Mm-hmm. From everything we can see here. Right. And if they end up ever watching this or seeing this, great job. Honestly, great job. I mean,
absolutely.
The fact that you're essentially able to keep over 50% of the revenue, excellent, right?
Yeah, I wish I could.
Yeah, me too. So, great job there. But that's my views. What are your closing thoughts?
Well, you know, for the price, it's still a good price.
It is.
For that type of revenue.
Yeah.
You just need to negotiate on how you're paying. I know a lot of people would pay cash. I know a lot of people, myself, I bought other businesses where the guy drops the keys in my hand and he walks away, I'd give him monthly payment.
Yeah.
I've had other ones would say, no, you got to pay me this, you know.
Yep.
Just negotiate and try to get the best price you can.
Yeah.
And as you say, they want the best price too.
Yep.
And you being the only one in that area besides a mobile guy, you got an advantage with this brick and mortar.
Yep. Completely agree.
But I would say yes, I would buy it. Am I moving to Denver?
Yeah. That's good. That's good. Well, hey, everybody, of course, we want to know what you think in the comments below. And by the way, what do you think about the Lockfather's thoughts on this? Right?
Uh-oh.
Yeah. But anyways, thank you all for watching. We look forward to reading the comments, and we will see you next time.
Have a great day.
Hey, before you go, I want to make sure that you know to include the hashtag LockBoss when you comment on our videos, and you automatically get hooked up to win free stuff that we give away each and every week. Tune in live here on Tuesdays at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and find out who the lucky winners are. I'm rooting for you. We'll see ya.